He had known at last only what the falcon knows: hunger, wind, the way it flies. I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger traveling through this world below. Hi, and welcome to my series Ivy Reads. I am Tara Blair. I will be reading short selections from my favorite books, my favorite short stories that I particularly love. This is from Ursula leGuin's A Wizard of Earthsea. Many of my future selections will probably be from Ursula Le Guin, as we lost her this past year, and I have to say it was the most painful authorial loss for me, and that's out of quite a few we've had in the last few years. The falcon's anger and wildness were like his own, and had become his own, and his will to fly had become the falcon's will. Thus he had passed over Enlad, stooping down to drink at a lonely forest pool, but on the wing once again, driven by fear of the shadow that came behind him. So he had crossed the great sea lane called the Jaws of Enlad, and gone on, east by south, the hills of Oronea faint to his right, and the hills of Andrad fainter to his left, and before him only the sea. Until, at last, ahead, there rose up out of the waves one unchanging wave, towering always higher, the white peak of Gaunt. In all the sunlight and dark of that great flight, he had worn the falcon's wings, and looked through the falcon's eyes. And forgetting his own thoughts, he had known at last only what the falcon knows: hunger, wind, the way it flies. He flew to the right haven. There were few on Roke, and only one on Gaunt who could have made him back into a man. He was savage and silent when he woke. Ogion never spoke to him, but gave him meat and water and let him sit hunched by the fire, grim as a great weary sulking hawk. When night came, he slept. On the third morning he came in to the fireside where the mage sat gazing at the flames and said, "Master." "Welcome, lad," said Ogion. "I have come back to you as I left, a fool," the young man said, his voice harsh and thickened. The mage smiled a little and motioned Ged to sit across the hearth from him and set to brewing them some tea. Snow was falling, the first of the winter here on the lower slopes of Gaunt. Ogion's windows were shuttered fast, but they could hear the wet snow as it fell soft on the roof, and the deep stillness of snow all about the house. A long time they sat there by the fire, and Ged told his old master the tale of the years since he had sailed from Gaunt aboard the ship called Shadow. Ogion asked no questions, and when Ged was done he kept silent for a long time, calm, pondering. Then he rose and set out bread and cheese and wine on the table, and they ate together. When they had done and had set the room straight, Ogion spoke. "Those are bitter scars you bear, lad," he said. "I have no strength against the thing," Ged answered. Ogion shook his head but said no more for a time. At length, "Strange," he said. "You had strength enough to outspell a sorcerer in his own domain there in Oskel. You had strength enough to withstand the lures and fend off the attack of the servants of an old power of earth. And at Pendor you had strength enough to stand up to a dragon." "It was luck I had in Oskel, not strength," Ged replied, and he shivered again at the thought of the dreamlike, deathly cold of the court of the Terranon. "As for the dragon, I knew his name. The evil thing, the shadow that hunts me, has no name." "All things have a name," said Ogion, so certainly that Ged dared not repeat what the Archmage Genscher had told him, that such evil forces as he had loosed were nameless. The dragon of Pendor, indeed, had offered to tell him the shadow's name, but he put little trust in the truth of that offer, nor did he believe Saret's promise that the stone would tell him what he needed to know. If the shadow has a name, he said at last. I do not think it will stop and tell it to me. No, said Ogion, nor have you stopped and told it your name. And yet it knew it. On the moors in Osgil it called you by your name, the name I gave you. It is strange, strange. He fell to brooding again. At last Ged said, I came for counsel, not for refuge, master. I will not bring this shadow upon you, and it will soon be here if I stay. Once you drove it from this very room. No, that was but the foreboding of it, the shadow of a shadow. I could not drive it forth now. Only you could do that. But I am powerless before it. Is there any place? His voice died away before he had asked the question. There is no safe place, Ogion said gently. Do not transform yourself again, Ged. The shadow seeks to destroy your true being. It duly did so, driving you into a hawk's being. No, where you should go I do not know. Yet I have an idea of what you should do. It is a hard thing to say to you. Ged's silence demanded truth, and Ogion said at last, You must turn around. Turn around? If you go ahead, if you keep running, wherever you run you will meet danger and evil, for it drives you. It chooses the way you go. You must choose. You must seek what seeks you. You must hunt the hunter. Ged said nothing. At the stream of the river Ar I named you, the mage said, a stream that falls from the mountain to the sea. A man would know it and he goes to, but he cannot know it if he does not turn and return to his beginning, and hold that beginning in his being. If he would not be a stick whirled and whelmed in the stream, he must be the stream itself, all of it, from its spring to its sinking in the sea. You returned to God. You returned to me, Ged. Now turn clear round, and seek the very source, and that which lies before the source. There lies your hope of strength. There, master, Ged said with terror in his voice. Where? Ogion did not answer. If I turn, Ged said after some time had gone by, if, as you say, I hunt the hunter, I think the hunt will not be long. All its desire is to meet me face to face, and twice it has done so, and twice defeated me. Third time is the charm, said Ogion. Ged paced the room up and down, from fireside to door, from door to fireside. And if it defeats me wholly, he said, arguing perhaps with Ogion, perhaps with himself, it will take my knowledge and my power and use them. It threatens only me now, but if it enters into me and possesses me, it will work great evil through me. That is true, if it defeats you. Yet if I run again, it will as surely find me again, and all my strength is spent in the running. Ged paced on a while, and then suddenly turned, and kneeling down before the mage, he said, I have walked with great wizards, and I have lived on the Isle of the Wise, but you are my true master, Ogion. He spoke with love and with somber joy. Good, said Ogion. Now you know it, better now than never. But you will be my master in the end. He got up and built up the fire to a good blaze and hung the kettle. I must go look after my goats. Watch the kettle for me, lad. When he came back in, all snow-powdered and stamping snow from his goatskin boots, he carried a long, rough shaft of yew wood. At the end of the short afternoon, and again after their supper, he sat working by lamplight on the shaft with knife and rubbing stone and spellcraft. Many times he passed his hand along the wood as if seeking any flaw. Often as he worked, he sang softly. Ged, still weary, listened, and as he grew sleepy, he thought himself a child in the witch's hut, in Ten Alders village, on a snowy night in the firelit dark, the air heavy with herb scent and smoke, and his mind all adrift on dreams as he listened to the long, soft singing of spells and deeds of heroes who fought against dark powers and won or lost on distant islands long ago. "There," said Ogion, and handed the finished staff to him. "The Archmage gave you wood. A good choice, and I kept to it. I meant the shaft for a longbow, but it's better this way. Good night, my son." As Ged, who found no words to thank him, turned away to his alcove room, Ogion watched him and said, too soft for Ged to hear, "Oh, my young falcon, fly well." In the cold dawn when Ogion awoke, Ged was gone. Only he had left in wizardly fashion a message of silver-scrawled runes on the hearthstone that faded even as Ogion read them. "Master, I go hunting." This has been a selection from Ursula K. Le Guin's A Wizard of Earthsea, and this is Ivy Tara Blair. Take care of yourselves.
To see my mother, she said she'd meet me when I come. So I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going alone. I'm just